There's no great mystery about what defeated Sanity are presenting to us in Chronicles of Lunacy, their 7th album. Brutal, technical death metal with a strong technical component. Although this could be an indication of déjà vu, you never get that feeling when you immerse yourself in these 8 songs. The technical element doesn't get in the way of the brutality, nor is it overwhelmed by it. The two come together in a perfect union that is only marred, in my humble opinion, by the sound of the snare drum, which stands out in this context. On the other hand, the way the drums are used also makes this an issue that soon becomes insignificant. All in all, a great album of brutal technical death metal. Switzerland's Distant Past are back for their 5th album, and we can say they're better than ever. Classic heavy metal with muscle and guts, but looking forward without getting bogged down in the glories of the past. More to the point, and with a collection of songs that will make any self-respecting heavy metal fan completely helpless. Although it's the up-tempo tracks that speak to our hearts, the album has enough variety and above all enough quality to keep the standards high. Debut by Portuguese band Aoidos, who have shown with singles and live performances that they have something that sets them apart from the rest. Dynamic death metal with a few progressive touches that escape definition. This is undoubtedly a good thing in a world of standardized and plasticized music, although it also poses some challenges in trying to fit them into a label that, like it or not, always helps any work. It's a surprisingly mature album that reveals an unpredictable but highly exciting future for this young band. Good old beating. The kind that punishes the body, the soul, and leaves scars on both. Metallic hardcore with a taste of Swedish death metal, as if Entombed had come back to life to play hardcore. All the anger contained here about this musical form finds an echo within ourselves, our frustrations, everything we've accumulated over a lifetime, which reaches a point where there's nothing left to do but explode. And it's a beautiful, memorable explosion that you want to repeat over and over again. Lifesick, aren't we all? The Greeks 1000 Mods are back for their 5th album, and we're betting they'll be a revelation to anyone who didn't know them. Heavy metal seasoned with a doomy feel, as raw as punk and as carefree as the alternative of the late 1980s. All this with that infectious stoner groove that makes you feel the beat inside you. Overthrown and Astral Odor are just 2 examples of an album that was built to listen to on repeat, over and over again. Rotborn's 2nd album is no longer a surprise to anyone who appreciates good raw death grind. The power with which these 10 songs hit us is impressive. An instant addiction for those who like an organic sound, with an old school approach but without sounding dated or close to this or that band. Although short, Shrapnels of a Panic Spiral has enough material to keep you entertained for hours on end. It will be hard to stop listening. Rotborn are a rising star of the Brazilian underground that you must follow. Supposedly, a scar for the wicked plays deathcore, and perhaps the experts can confirm this claim from their musical past. However, what they present here in Acolythis is technical and melodic death metal, absurdly technical, that takes melody to even more absurd heights. It's one of those albums that even those who don't like melodic death metal will be hooked, as will those who don't like technical death metal. It doesn't really matter what it is, just that it's absurdly good and addictive. Could Impelliteri be one of the most underrated bands in heavy metal? It's open to debate, but in any case, Chris Impelliteri's band is back, and with it, another series of infectious songs where the riffs and solos are always addictive, with Rob Rock's voice sounding powerful and where the rhythm is assured in a powerful way with James Pulley and Paul Bostaff, ex-Slayer, themes lasting between 3 and 4 minutes, heavy metal that sounds classic but fresh, the perfect introduction for anyone who knows the style between power and melody. War Machine is an addiction that any metalhead will not be indifferent to. What we've always admired about the Catafalque is not only the variety they've managed to achieve over the course of 12 albums, but achieve that same variety even in the albums themselves. Variety that doesn't shake their eccentric musical identity. Despite a very melodic and catchy as hell start with Piros Coxy Faketi EJ, the metallic violence is present throughout most of the album. Although the melody isn't just confined to that first song either. Despite all the usual expect the unexpected dynamics, this is one of Catafalque's most cohesive albums, and I would venture to say, catchy. Ethereal released 2 solid albums at the beginning of the millennium, but ended up going out of business before the first decade was out. Their comeback was announced in 2021 with a memorable concert at the RCA Club. A few years have passed, but here is the materialization of that comeback with their 3rd album. A 3rd album that elevates them in every way. There's not a weak song on this album, not a less exciting moment. From the vocal dynamics to the fantastic arrangements and solos, Downfall is precisely the opposite of what the title suggests. Ethereal's well-deserved rise.